Okay, Lataro, you ready? You want to get going?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Well, thanks, Lataro, for joining me. This is Matthew Longi. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer with Personalize. Want to welcome all of you to our first live event we've done in some time. This is the State of AI, key takeaways from HubSpot Inbound 2025. Pretty exciting event last week in San Francisco. HubSpot, I think, unpacked the suitcase and laid it all out in front of us. So there's quite a bit that was announced. So we wanted to share, a number of the key AI updates. There's a lot that was shared, so we're not going to cover everything, but we want to cover what we thought were the top six. So we'll go through that. What does this mean for your business? So all of us are dealing with the new world of AI and what all that means for our business, and then some thoughts on how to stay ahead without feeling buried in AI overwhelm. So with
Luisita,
that,
yo acabo de entrar a una llamada, pero si usted, ahí le escribí a Yumi, si ustedes quieren ir almorzando.
You're good, Matt. I just muted us.
okay, didn't catch that one. Uh, Gracias, welcome. Um, and so let's get rolling into the introductions. So, like I said, I'm Matthew Longi. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at Personalize. My background has been in the SaaS world for many decades, a few decades here. Most notably was with a company called Omniture, which was then acquired by Adobe, which built Adobe's multi-billion-dollar digital marketing business. So I led the global product marketing team there. Been a CMO for a number of SaaS companies along the way. Really excited to have joined Personalize recently in what Hamed and the team have done in building what we're really excited to share, and we'll share more of that towards the end. But excited to be joined by my partner here, Latoro. Latoro, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Lataro. I started my SaaS journey back in the Zoho ecosystem where we were doing business automations. Stayed in that space for a while, also spent a good amount of time investing in various crypto projects. And then now I'm working with Personalize because I truly see the future of AI personalization in sales and marketing being a big thing when it comes to businesses taking it to the next level and keeping up to date, which is the main thing. Because if their competitors are doing this type of stuff and they're still stuck in the manual world, then they're going to get blown out of the water. So really just looking to enable them with this new realm of business automations.
Awesome. And thanks, Latoro, for joining. Um, and so to get started, I thought what we could do is really want to kind of get your guys' opinions as we start. So want to hear from you with AI. What do you find to be most overwhelming? And we kind of have four categories that we thought were relevant to this discussion today. Number one is AI tools. So it seems like there's innumerable AI tools that are available now and coming online. So we see that here at Personalize, and we feel that as well. So I'm just curious if show of hands. I think you guys in your Zoom, you can do the help me out, Latoro. What's that? I'm not sure if I see it on my screen, but I think it's is it called reactions?
Yeah, if they click React, they can put
Yep.
their hand up right there.
Yeah, give me a reaction if you could. Love to see what you guys think about. Are you guys overwhelmed with the number of AI tools and just trying to keep up with everything that's out there and what's happening? I'm just curious. Yep, thumbs up. Okay. Yeah, Maurizio, thank you. Varun, thumbs up. Yeah, there's a lot that's going on. So part of what we wanted to do today was HubSpot made a major set of announcements, so we kind of want to synthesize that and unpack that. I think the second issue is around best practices. What do you do with all these AI tools? How can I best implement this? How can I get my team working in the right way with AI tools? I'm sure we're all plugged into ChatGPT and doing our own prompt engineering, trying to get the right results. How many of you, show of hands, smiley face, scared face, whatever it might be, give me your favorite emoticon. How many of you are kind of overwhelmed or struggling or feel kind of AI fatigue even with what do we do with all this best practices? I'm curious what you guys think about that. Yeah, thumbs up, hands up. Um, Anyone feel like they've got it nailed? I'm curious for the folks that are on. Give me a thumbs up if you feel like, yep, we got it nailed, we've solved it, we're doing great. Thumbs up. Yeah, maybe not. I think I'm with you guys on that. The other two are like proving value and team impact, and I'll kind of roll these into one thing, which is okay, so your team, you've gone out, you've licensed or you're using ChatGPT Pro or Plus, you're using, higher level tools, you're paying subscription licenses, whatever. You're making investments. Um, I'm curious as to if anyone's really seeing immediate or expected value from that. And then how is that impacting your team? Specifically, are you able to do more with your current team? Are you thinking about, well, we don't need to hire another SDR. Maybe we can get away with an AI first approach. So give me your wavy hand if you think that there's still ROI to be proven or shown, and then give me a sad face if you think that it's impacting the human capital inside your business. Meaning, you may have to, you may be thinking about laying off people, or you yourself may be laid off, replaced by an AI bot, so to speak. Yeah, I think I see some of that. So. All ways that I think we're all in this together. And so one of the things that we're trying to do at Personalize is really help understand that and help lead that through this journey that we're all on together. So let's jump right into the six takeaways. So this is HubSpot's Inbound 2025. Last week in San Francisco, their CEO gave a keynote. I mean, they had any number of popular speakers, cultural speakers, business speakers, etc. But we felt that there was really six things that stood out for us here on the Personalized team. So let's jump right into that. So I'll start with Loop Marketing. So this is one of their big announcements. Loop Marketing, I believe, is their next or newest generation of their go-to-market strategy. As we all know, HubSpot really was founded and grew on inbound, and their conference is still called Inbound. Um, I'll make a prediction at some point. Maybe it's not called Inbound. Maybe it's called Loop in the coming years, but don't hold me to that. But loop marketing, really, what is this? So this replaces the linear funnel with this model of express, tailor, amplify, and evolve. So what is that? So what that means is AI is integrated at every stage: ideation, personalization, distribution, and optimization. So what it's trying to do is it's kind of dealing with the new reality of our customers are not going through this linear funnel. It's this iterative, continuous feedback loop of customers bouncing around, going to LinkedIn, going to websites, going to Reddit, going to Wikipedia, whatever, wherever they're going. G2, you name it, turning campaigns into always improving systems. So I think it's a smart move for HubSpot in the sense that they're being very responsive or reactive in some ways to an AI-driven world. They leaned really hard into this, in my opinion. I think the con though is this a buzzword right now? Does it lack operational playbooks? Does it lack actual content velocity? To be seen. I think that's to be seen. So this is interesting because when they introduced this at Inbound last week, their CEO was on stage saying this was a response to the traffic apocalypse, meaning 60% of Google searches are ending in 0 clicks. And think about that. HubSpot's business was built on inbound. It was built on SEO. It was built on those Google searches. And now they're saying, hey, 60% of those end in 0 clicks. That is a crater. That is an apocalypse. So she emphasized that the funnel, the traditional funnel, is essentially broken. As they're now live across social, AI-driven channels, content's discovered through AI engines, not websites. So the playbook here is more than a framework. It's supposed to be really an executable process tied to specific tools. So those tools would be Express, so using Breeze Assistant or AI connectors like ChatGPT or Gemini to help define your brand's tone or voice. Tailor, which is really all about leveraging the new data hub, which they announced. Latoro is going to cover that. Smart CRM, so that would be intent signals, personalization, segmentation, AI-powered email for those personalized messages. Amplify was really all about deploying across like podcast, LLM, social, using AI engine optimization, AEO. We've heard GEO, generative engine optimization, essentially to make sure that you're appearing in AI generated content. So I think that's a big question. And then Evolve, which is real-time analytics and AI insights to enable rapid iteration and campaign optimization. So that's kind of the promise. I think, frankly, some of the challenges are going to be, frameworks are only as strong as the data foundation that they stand upon. So in my opinion, without a unified customer data and unified customer memory, I think the loop is going to stall out. So there has to be some fundamental infrastructure that supports this or a solution that provides a unified customer memory platform. So I think they need to work on that. And there's other solutions out there, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that we might be able to offer there. Always on optimization requires more than campaign level analytics. I think it really depends on deep CRM context. It requires customer journey data. Most AI tools or many AI tools aren't natively connecting into HubSpot. So we'll see how those integrations are going to play out and going to work. And I think really the biggest limiter isn't generating ideas or content. I think it's about the orchestration. How do you orchestrate personalization at scale across all these touch points in the loop? Yet to be seen. They didn't really touch on that orchestration element. Again, I think there has to be some solutions around that. So with all that said, I'm curious, SEO and the traffic apocalypse. Give me your big hands up if you think that your business also and you're seeing data suffering from the SEO and traffic apocalypse. Anybody suffering from that? Yep, Chantel for sure. We've talked about that. JR, Maurizio, Tom, Varun, Matt, and you guys seeing the same thing? I'm just curious. Just give me a hands up if you're seeing challenges with your inbound or your traffic not performing. Maybe you guys are nailing AI and AEO, so that'd be great if you are. Okay, interesting. All right, let's go to the next one, which is Data Hub. So, Lataro, tell us about Data Hub, what your point of view is on that, and what HubSpot announced and what we're seeing.
Yeah. So a big thing we talk about with our customers is when it comes to AI agent outputs, it really all comes down to the quality of data you have within those contact records. So we're not going to have a good personalized email if your contact record has broken information in there, like missing emails, phone numbers, no context on things like call transcripts or email threads. That's what HubSpot's doing here with Data Hub, is essentially creating a unified experience to essentially clean and unify all that data. So we have things like smart records. So these records are going to continuously be searching the web as well as your other pieces of software through things like MCP and just API integrations to then continuously update these contact records with the most up-to-date information. Because if we know, for example, you had a call with someone and then they mentioned some specific pain points, we're going to really want to grab that data to then use in things like personalized emails or qualification or scoring, stuff like that. So another thing is we have just the idea that with cleaner data segmentation and reporting, you're going to get accurate marketing and sales copy. We just want a singular source of truth, which is what Data Hub is doing, which is just creating super context rich contact records to then be used as context to pass on to things like reasoners and writers when it comes to, like I said, qualification, lead scoring, emails. So yeah, basically when segment level targeting isn't enough, you just need to do per contact research, plus add in this long-term memory across web, CRM, transcripts to then plan a specialized personalization approach to your customers. But that's pretty much it. There's just a lot when it comes to this, when it comes to the integrations that have yet to be proven. So we really just need to start looking at all those integrations and how that value is being translated into HubSpot itself.
Yeah, and Latar, I'm curious, what do you see as maybe some of the limitations or the things that they may have left out in the announcement or things that might be a hole in this feature or this new strategy with Data Hub?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I'm curious about is the amount of integrations and what specific integrations they have. Like, are we just sticking with the top 10, like Google Sheets and Salesforce and MailChimp, like we
Yeah.
see right there? Or are we going to have stuff that is with more niche stuff like Zoho, whatever you can think of, stuff that's maybe a competitor to HubSpot? Are they going to like include those integrations? What we'll have to see.
Yep. Good. All right, so that's Data Hub.
Uh, Mauricio
Yep.
raised his hand.
Yeah, actually, Marcia, if you want to hold your question, we're going to do a Q&A as we get through all this. So I appreciate that. So just stand by for your question. We'll get into it, but yeah, certainly want to address that with Data Hub. Breeze agents. This is the other big thing that they announced at Inbound. I think it was 18 to 20 new Breeze agents, data agent, customer agent, prospect data agent. So this is kind of their new architecture with the agentic approach that they're taking. They also announced the marketplace for discovering pre-built agents, and then Studio for customizing and building them without code, so a codeless or no code approach. I think the pro of this is that they're embedding AI directly into the HubSpot workflows. So the agents ostensibly become AI coworkers. Again, yet to be seen how effective these really are. I think though the risk here is that um, there may be some over reliance on AI. Poor data governance could lead to bad outcomes. So again, as we all know, AI is really driven by the right data or correct data. Um, so they announced these Breeze agents and assistants. It's announced across marketing, sales, service. Again, with Marketplace and Studio launching in public beta. Some of the examples that they share: data agent. So that'll research prospects by analyzing CRM data, calls, emails, documents, web sources, etc. Then it'll enrich that with their smart CRM. Customer agent was all about like acting as a concierge, answering questions, qualifying leads, resolving issues. It's alleged to handle about 65% of conversations automatically. Again, I think yet to be seen how effective that truly ends up being. And then prospecting agents. So they were sort of touting this as a 24/7 BDR, 24/7 SDR, monitoring prospect behavior, researching accounts, sending personalized outreach. Again, some of these are yet kind of unproven and some things that we'd want to see. Some of the capabilities of the marketplace were browsing and installing pre-built agents. In some respects, it's kind of like the app marketplace, but for AI agents. And in others, with Studio, that was a fully customized or where you can fully customize or build agents without code. So you can upload documents, you can set certain guardrails, integrate workflows. So that Studio is built and available for that. And then lastly, around Breeze Assistant and Custom Assistants. So these are supposed to be intelligent CRM aware companions that integrate with Gmail, Slack, a number of platforms. Again, trying to provide that context rich support through your workflows. Um, Again, I think some of the challenges, the cons here could be AI agents. They can certainly accelerate tasks, but the blind automation risks, amplifying CRM gaps. So unless you have an agent that is operating with complete or unsiloed data, the challenge here is these agents really can't outperform if they're operating with incomplete or siloed data. Most of the pre-built agents kind of work in a vacuum. So they, for the most part, they're going to lack that cross-system intelligence when data lives in multiple platforms. So that's, I think, going to be a challenge for them. I think the real opportunity isn't for an agent for a task, but really you want agents that understand the full, kind of customer context. So something that spans sales, marketing, service, and then acts accordingly. So you have to have kind of the full understanding and the reasoning. There has to be a reasoning system behind this to understand how those elements all come together to deliver the right outcome from that task. So I would say that the true value really needs to come from when the AI augments our human decision making. So we have our strategy, we have our approach in mind, and AI really should augment that and leverage all that data and leverage all those systems, not just execute a task queue. I think that's probably going to be the shortcoming of this. So, okay.
Nice.
Number four. Are we on number four? Yeah. Number four, Breeze Assistant. So, Latoro, I think you wanted to share some thoughts on this.
Yeah, so Breeze Assistant is basically Microsoft Copilot. You can ask it to prep meetings, summarize deals, and draft content. Essentially, what we want to use it for is meeting prep, recaps after that meeting, drafting follow-ups. Just have that little Copilot within your sidebar that you can then be in a contact record prior to a meeting and say, help me out with this. One thing that I think we need to look at when using this is essentially the prompt that is enabling the structure of these outputs. So HubSpot's going to come with their pre-draft prompt. So you're going to have something that's I wouldn't call generic, but generic. And what we want to do is essentially take your best practices and then prompt your Breeze assistant to give you outputs in terms of a properly structured pre-meeting summary or pre-meeting playbook in the way that is presenting you the information that you think is most relevant. So just think Microsoft Copilot inside of HubSpot. So another thing we can talk about is, let's say you're a rep, like you want to use it by opening a deal and then ask it something like summarize the last 30 days and then draft a follow-up email with next steps. Or if you're a marketer, you want to open a campaign and then you want to ask your Copilot to do something like read this campaign and give me an AI summary of which channels driving SQLs under our CAC target, for example. And then, yeah, just start with like a quick 2-week pilot. Ask it for the top 10 opportunities this month, for example. Ask it to run some AI campaign summaries. Look at those outputs. If you don't like the output, if it's too broad, generic, then we want to go inside the Copilot prompt and then start giving it specified documents. Maybe you have a PDF that has all your best practices when it comes to these type of outputs. That's how we're gonna get the most value out of Breeze Assistant.
Cool. All right. Any kind of off the top of your head, any limitations you're seeing, things that stand out that people might need to tread with caution?
Yeah, I think it's just the big thing is like prompting Breeze Assistant to act on your best practices rather than HubSpot's best practices when it comes to building something to fit their entire user base. You want to build it to fit your specific business.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Good feedback. All right. So AI in Marketing Hub. Quick show of hands. Who's licensed using AI Marketing Hub in HubSpot? Anybody at the pro level or the enterprise level? Just give me a quick hand. Curious if you guys are CRM only, Sales Hub. Anyone? Quick show of hands. Anybody using Marketing Hub? Most likely, maybe not. Okay. I'm seeing actually, I'm not seeing any hands. Okay. Interesting. So AI in Marketing Hub. So this was all about thumbs down for the Marketing Hub. Okay. All right. Or maybe some, I see Varun, you're giving us the party poppers. Yeah, I think Marketing Hub is it's got some opportunities, and I think this is where AI is going to help it. So campaign summaries. So some of the things that they were talking about with kind of working or weaving in AI into Marketing Hub. So number one is campaign summaries, AI generated digest of performance insights in plain language. I think what this will probably do is this is probably done to help marketers better report on campaign performance to an executive team. I know probably, like many of you, I've always struggled with what's the right way, and my teams have struggled. What's the right way to present marketing performance to an executive team that understands it in executive speak and business speak and not marketing speak? There's, this marketer that can say we have our own language, and sometimes people don't. It doesn't translate well. Lookalike lists. So AI creates new audiences based on your top customers. I think the pro of kind of AI being weaved into Marketing Hub is it should help marketers move from analysis to action more quickly. I think the con again is that summaries can oversimplify. Lookalike lists may reinforce bias in the data. So again, these were all a number of features that were part of the Marketing Studio enhancements announced at Inbound. AI-powered email. Again, really interested to see how that works in practice. Building segments and doing personalization. Again, we're personalized. It's on our name. It's in our vision. Personalization we think is everything, and we'll touch on a little bit of that as we get towards the end. But real-time campaign analytics presumably should include concise summaries, so we'll see more on that. Now, while they were not separately labeled as campaign summaries or lookalike lists in coverage, they do align with the capabilities that HubSpot's promised: AI-driven insights and segmentation. And this is supposed to expand on HubSpot's move towards this human AI hybrid team. And they were trying to emphasize that, the context-rich data powers meaningful automation and personalization. So we're all for personalization. Again, it's just, do you have the base data? Do you have the memory? Do you have the reasoning that supports all that? Again, I think some of the challenges here are going to be AI summaries are helpful, but they may not solve the strategy gap, meaning that teams need the insights that connect performance back to business outcomes, not just dashboards. The other one is around these lookalike lists. There is some risk that it's kind of creating an echo chamber of sameness. So when growth comes, when growth actually comes from identifying new untapped segments, lookalike lists might be just like, okay, look at this audience and do the same thing, rinse and repeat. May not deliver some meaningful value because you're not really tapping into something that's new or untapped. Predictive segmentation is super powerful when it's combined with CRM-driven intent signals and lifecycle context, not just behavioral lookalikes. But again, it's all founded or powered by that data. And then lastly, I'd say that the next frontier isn't just audience expansion, it's really the true personalization of the journey. So again, if you think about the loop marketing, you think about how customers are engaging with businesses, um, we gotta think beyond just, oh, I need to expand my audience. It's about how do you deliver a true personalization experience for the current market, the current audiences you're trying to serve. So I think there's some challenges there. And then in the interest of time, let's go. Latoro, you wanted to talk about AI guided workshops, and then we got some things we want to share with you guys outside of this. So, what's up on this, Latoro?
Yeah, so it's workspaces, and essentially workspaces give sales, CS, and help desk a focused home with AI essentially surfacing what needs attention and why. So essentially, we can start the day with prioritizing tasks, risk flags, guided next steps, just a lot less switching between tabs, looking at a blank screen and thinking mentally, and just more about getting that relevant context to you directly so you can focus on actually moving the needle forward when it comes to this type of stuff. So another thing is the CS and help desk. So we'll now get health alerts, playbooks, custom views that help teams prevent churn and just speed up resolution time. And we also have a customer agent. So this is going to be really good for help desks. So we're going to have auto replies or kind of pre-drafted replies to customer queries within your help desk. And it learns from your PDFs and whatever other context you give it to support that relevant output. Like we've talked previously, HubSpot's going to give you that generic pre-prompt. And what we want to do is give it more context, more of your best practices when it comes to giving the right answers to these customer queries. So I would just start off with like a 2-week pilot for sales, pick just 3 plays and pair each with a pre-approved follow-up template. And then on the CS side of things, the customer service side of things, configure 10 repeat answers to your common questions, and then prompt your workspace with those questions, look at the outputs, see the results of customers interacting with it, and then you're probably going to see some flaws, and that's when you need to add more context to that essentially feedback loop there. So in terms of metrics to watch, like look for the time to next step, look on the win rate on flag deals, look at the first response time, like how fast are we responding to these tickets compared to previously, stuff like that. So workspaces essentially reduce swivel and AI reduces time to next step. Customer agent is essentially your 24/7 tier 0 trained on your policies and answers to queries. So yeah, like keep an eye out for it. Look for if there's too many signals or the signals aren't relevant. Look for generic support answers because that's when you're going to want to, again, go back in and make sure you're adding that context so it doesn't give those generic support answers, but highly relevant, personalized support answers. But that's
Cool.
essentially what Workspaces is. It's essentially just improving what's already there, but with a lot of AI generation in terms of reducing or prepping your team versus what they were doing previously with manual efforts.
Yeah. Yeah, and Lataro, as you say this, I'm really interested, and I'd love to have, and we'll get into Q&A here right now, but I'd love to hear people's thoughts on, is this AI wrapper around kind of the same old HubSpot architecture, or is this a truly re-architected way of driving value in sales and marketing, customer success in HubSpot? And I think that's really what frankly, a lot of large SaaS companies, Salesforce, Adobe, HubSpot, of course, what they're dealing with. I mean, there's a lot of AI startups because they're just rethinking the approach to how business gets done, how sales and marketing gets done. So I'm really interested to see how this all plays out in the coming years. With that said, love to address your questions. I know Maurizio, you had a question about Data Hub, I believe. So if you guys got a question, go ahead and give a shout out, hands up, or in the meeting chat in Zoom here. Welcome to everybody again. If you want to ask a question, if you don't want to go on camera or on audio, feel free to ask your questions here. So, Mauricio, do you want to start? You had a question for us, I believe.
Uh, Thanks, Matt, and thanks, Personalized AI team, for the event. Not so much a question, but rather a comment.
Yeah.
And it's based on what you just mentioned. So, I worked at HubSpot for almost 5 years. I actually, sold. I left in 2020.
Okay.
Was there during Hallian's time when Hallian transitioned the transition role to Yamini, and when Ops Hub was just an internal pilot, right?
Yeah.
And I think that HubSpot, and based on inbound last year and the years prior to, I can't help but feel that they're an amazing company, but they're catering more and more to the enterprise. So
Yeah.
that question that you asked, depends on the person that's receiving the questions. So, like for me, former employee, I have a bunch of friends, and I'm more of a startup guy, right?
Yeah.
So to me, when I just add all like the CRMs, the HubSpot, the Salesforce, the Microsoft Dynamics, yada yada, it's more of a question of how can I continuously deliver value to my reps and to my users, and at the same time ensuring that the experience to the other side of the table is there. And I think that CRMs are going to have a tough time in the next
Yeah.
couple of years.
I got
Go
I
ahead.
got a couple of comments on that. One thing I'm very curious on is, yeah, when you were talking about catering towards the enterprise, is I need to see what the pricing looks like, because every one of these actions is presumably going to have some sort of cost associated with it. And we're talking about all these amazing use cases, but if we applied every single one, that's obviously the ideal scenario. But is that something that's affordable? Do they need to be on the most expensive plan to like get access to every single use case? So we need to look into that more. We need to see reports from people who maybe do implement every single one of these use cases, which is most likely going to be an enterprise user. And then look at the costs associated with that when it comes to outputs, because I think it's going to be on a per output basis, or it's going to be on a per conversation basis, like what Salesforce does. But it's definitely something I'm going to keep an eye out on. And then, yeah, when it comes to like enabling our SDRs, like they don't need every single one of these use cases. Like they need playbooks and they need context rich contact records. That's what's going to move the needle most for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Lautaro, and to piggyback on what you just said, and look, my blood is still sort of orange, you know.
Yeah.
And when I put the thumbs down in Marketing Hub, it's not that I don't want to use it. I just again, it's too early for me. I'm actually not even evaluating HubSpot as a potential CRM for my business, right? Just because it's just become so
Yeah.
enterprisey. And I have a bunch of like former HubSpotter friends and people that are still there. And we have the joke that's like, and not to, not kick HubSpot when it's down because they're an amazing company. But it's like it just it feels as if HubSpot became what they swore to destroy, which was
Yeah.
Salesforce. I think that HubSpot became like a mini Salesforce, right?
Interesting.
And it feels like you have to like pay to play, right? And
Yeah.
I have a bunch of friends that are HubSpot partners and implement pro and enterprise, marketing hub, sales hub, ops hub, all of the hubs. And they even feel that on, for example, specifically with Breeze, what you guys
Mhm.
mentioned, like garbage in, garbage out, I totally agree with that. And I also have that question is like, with everything that HubSpot is implementing, will they have the personalization that go to market teams need to execute on a daily basis? Yes or no? And if they do, will it be, um, you know, um, fair in terms of pricing so that somebody that doesn't have millions of dollars to spend on a yearly basis can make great business decisions and still feel that they're not like getting
Yeah.
left behind by these solutions.
I'm curious because like Chamath seems like very open to the idea of just enabling every single person in the world with AI. So he talked about his son and how he grew up with ChatGPT since his birth, pretty much, and how he's seeing that. And he seems very like philanthropic. That's pronounced wrong. Philanthropic. Anyways, when it comes to AI, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the pricing model is, how that actually plays out when it comes to actually utilizing every single one of these use cases. But I'm kind of optimistic, but I just think as soon as we start to scale to over 1,000 records, it's going to start to get really pricey.
Yeah. Yeah, Mauricio, I'll jump in here in my perspective because I was around when Salesforce first got started, and it was Mark Benioff saying, we're going to be the if you guys are old enough to remember, there was the no software logo that they had, and they were coming out like, oh, Oracle is the big bad CRM. We're the new scrappy, fun CRM until Salesforce became Oracle. And then HubSpot came along to be the anti-Salesforce, and they were great at it until HubSpot became the next Salesforce. So I'm with you, and this is why I love software. Is there's a generation of software. I think about IBM was the scrappy startup, 100 years ago, and now they're a dinosaur. So it's kind of like there seems to be an arc of software companies that go from being scrappy startup to dinosaur. And so Personalized, we are a very scrappy, very new startup. I did see a question being asked in the comments here. What is Personalized? So let me give you the quick pitch on Personalized if you're not familiar with us, and you probably aren't, because we're really just getting started. So Personalized is what we're calling the first generative personalization engine, and it's built natively in HubSpot. And our goal is to turn HubSpot into the most powerful CRM ever. We think that there's a lot of space and room for growth. And Mauricio, I'd love to get your feedback offline separately. Our premise and our vision is delivering one-to-one AI-powered personalization at scale. So think about the problems that sales and marketing teams have. So sales teams, oftentimes you'll have a bunch of SDRs. They're wasting countless hours researching prospects. They're going to LinkedIn, they're going to Google, they're going to the websites. They're trying to learn everything they can about a prospect, and in some cases, their customers. Marketing teams, unfortunately, are struggling to scale personalized campaigns. Typically, it's going to be the dear personalization token first name, and that's about as much personalization as you can get. Our vision, our premise is that AI now gives us the ability, and Personalize is driving this into the market, the ability to lead one-to-one personalization at scale, meaning everyone on this live event today would get their own email from HubSpot, personalized to them with who you are, what you do, what your role is, what's the context of your journey and as a customer or as a prospect, any number of things. And we're happy to give you guys a demo. So if you see the personalized.ai sign up logo or link somewhere on the screen. I think I don't know where you're looking, but anyway, Bottom right of the screen, you'll see that. Sign up, let us know, and we'll get you guys set up. We'd love to take you through it. Latoro does a great job showing what Personalize can do for you. But think about number one, it's native to HubSpot, so zero integration friction. So if you're using HubSpot, boom, you're ready to go with Personalize. Number two, it's deeply contextual. So we combine all the CRM data of HubSpot. We combine it with all the third-party data outside of HubSpot, which we do better than they do, to deliver hyper-relevant personalization. So I would get emails, campaigns. You as a seller or a vendor trying to sell to me, you'd know more about me than you'd ever want to know as far as what's relevant to you of personalizing your experience to be. So we believe this is a brand new category. We think this is a new category we're creating, generative personalization engines. Love to talk to you guys about it more. So appreciate the question and the opportunity to share with you about that. Yep. Yeah. No software, Benjamin. You remember the days of Salesforce coming out with that. So, and I'm actually curious as to what people think about, we're going from an era of software as a service to what do we call this next era? Clearly, it's driven by AI. I think the business model still is a SaaS model. There's a license, if you will. I don't even call it a license, a subscription, a better word, um, and recurring revenue. Um, but yeah, I'd be curious to see what people think of this new generation, and then what we shared from what HubSpot announced. Mauricio, really appreciate your feedback. I'd love to talk to you offline, like I said. Other questions from the audience, if you guys want to go on audio or go live. I see Doug and JR still with us, Chantel. Other questions, Benjamin? What else did we share, or did you see or hear it from HubSpot that you found interesting, or hey, this is a game changer? I'm curious what you guys think.
Chantel.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks,
Yeah,
Matt
Chantel, go ahead.
and Latoro. I just have a quick question about HubSpot's AI. So, based on everything that happened in inbound and your guys' knowledge of their AI, their agents, are the agents designed to provide a lot of like deep account level insights, or is it purely just assistive, like help me draft this email? Because you guys have talked about how the goal of Personalize is to continue to optimize the HubSpot CRM. So what is it that HubSpot's AI agents do or don't do really? Are they assistive or agentic?
So I'll answer that in a couple ways. One is my concern, which I was trying to express, is that your AI agent's only as good as your data, right? Specifically your CRM data. The
Right.
challenge that I've had with every single client I've worked with prior to joining Personalized full time, I've been a HubSpot partner, been working in HubSpot for 5, 6, 7, 8 years now. Um, again, coming out of the Adobe universe where I led global product marketing for Adobe's enterprise stack in digital marketing. I think HubSpot's done a lot of things right and a lot of things well. However, at the end of the day, I don't know how many clients I've worked with where their CRM data is just not that great. It's got a lot of holes in it, missing things like phone numbers and emails. That's kind of the basics. But more importantly, it's missing the relevance, the contextual relevance of why should I care about this contact and this prospect in the context of what my ICP is, in the context of my go-to-market. So my concern is that HubSpot, with all their AI power that they're building into this, is still only going to be as good as the underlying infrastructure and the underlying data that it stands upon. So whether it's assistive or agentic, that may be too nuanced for me. Maybe Lataro or Hamed can answer that. But my concern would be I don't want it to be lipstick on a pig, to be honest. And I think Mauricio, you might be was alluding to that earlier. So I don't know, Lataro, your thoughts, maybe Mauricio, if you want to weigh in on this as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it just comes down to the orchestration of it all. There's a bunch of different options, and if you know exactly what you want and you know exactly how to prompt these engines, then you can get 90% there. The big thing is, yeah, just knowing where to start, knowing how to A/B test, knowing how to look for bad outputs, and then optimizing it with better context. And then that's that. And then I don't know. I just want to hammer down on the price thing. Like, we really need to see what it's going to look like when you start to want to scale to maybe you have 100,000, 200,000 contacts in your CRM.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Mauricio, yeah, I
The
know
other
you.
thing that I was gonna,
Yeah, please weigh in.
yeah. When I see a lot of companies, when you're evaluating AI and even speaking to a bunch of my friends at HubSpot that are, some of them are up, some of them are leaders there. Everybody and their mother wants to implement AI somehow. Like that is what the market is telling you. Is like you should have AI in your workflow. But very seldomly I see companies just asking themselves, like, okay, why do I want to implement AI? How do I want this to look? And what is the actual workflow going to look like? And what is going to be the outcome that I want that workflow to have? And that is why I typically see a lot of what you guys have talked about, just garbage in, garbage out, or
Yeah.
just like an analysis paralysis kind of thing. It's like you try to implement so many things and then just the model breaks, the process breaks because you're not going to have something that is easy to understand, clean, and price competitive
Yeah, and especially if
on
you're
the
in
on
like
the price element.
especially if you're like in an industry that has like tough compliance in terms of like email sent, like we need to like really make sure these businesses know what they're doing when they're actually implementing these things to ensure that they fit that compliance. So it's something some businesses are going to need a lot more help with than others, but yeah, they just need to know where to start. So that's my take on that.
And we'll take time for one more question. My last thought on that is I think Dharmesh and his role, and then Whitney with the role as CTO. The technology drivers behind HubSpot, smart people. They built a great business. I'm curious if we all have our own intrinsic biases. I'm curious if they're able to break outside the biases and rethink. It's almost like, how do you remodel everything? It's like, are you just remodeling the house, or are you building a whole brand new building with a whole brand new architecture, right? That's earthquake proof, and it's got engineering dampers and whatnot. That's different than the old brick house that you've built over the last 20 years. So I'd be curious if just technically they can make that journey from an infrastructure, and they've got a great customer base. They've got a massive business. This is where it gets hard, if you've got kind of a baseline infrastructure and just rethinking and redoing that whole thing. It's I don't think Salesforce has really innovated in a long time, at least from what I've seen. Einstein to me was a bit of a AI lipstick on a pig in many ways. It adds value. They're claiming it, but I'd be curious to see what the real actual ROI value is going to be in the long term. Any more questions for us? Anybody else want to jump in? Was it Benjamin?
It is just I had a question for you guys.
Yeah,
I may have missed it, so if so, we can take it offline. But
sure.
mostly what I'm curious about is I think just differentiating between sort of more advanced token-based personalization versus kind of what personalized does more broadly.
Yeah,
My feeling is that it's never been easier to find people, and so competitive advantage lies in actually doing the personalization. And so, well, garbage in, garbage out, certainly. But I am already noticing that like this is still spam in my LinkedIn. It's slightly more sophisticated, right? Hey, now we can put in 2 tokens or 5, right?
yeah.
What do you guys see as your competitive advantage? What are the data points that you pull in to kind of achieve it? What are the sort of like, I don't know, key markers, key things that you identified? Like
Yeah.
someone figured out, hey, you get their first name in there, that's a 20% increase, right? And then presumably we build on that. But what are the pieces that you guys focus in on?
We actually have Hamid, our founder, in here. So he said he'd like to answer that question.
Oh,
So
Yeah,
I
come
know
on.
Amit.
Ahmed, you
Hello.
want to weigh in on that?
Hey, I think my camera's right. Um, so you actually mentioned the tokenization and token-based personalization. The kind of the approach we have is generative AI that meets personalization. That means the content is generated per person. But as you mentioned, the concern is about accuracy and it's a garbage in, garbage out. So that means 90% of a good personalization and generating the content, which is a new paradigm, is the deep research and how we can understand deeply contextual information about the customer. A lot of time when it comes to personalization, we think about outbound, we are reaching out to people and on LinkedIn or email, but there is trillions of emails we are sending inbound, which is HubSpot focus, to people who subscribe, they signed up, they engage with our ads, and we know a lot of contextual information about them. So one of the, again, we can think about personalized for outbound. If you have a good list and you have an intent, you have a contextual understanding, you can do deep research, things like that. But what I just want to highlight is personalization and engaging customers more far beyond like just outbound motion, which is we have marketing emails, we have websites, we have different content we are sharing with customers, and the opportunity is in opt out inbound. We have a lot of data points that are unique per industry, per company, and the stack we are using. So with that is to summarize it is token-based personalization. I think the paradigm needs to be end. Essentially, it will be a part, not the dominant solution. It should be maybe take care of half of the kind of personalization needs. There is something that wasn't even possible to consider was generative personalization, which is AI that can understand a customer, reason, and take some steps, and then write to that specific customer. It might be a marketing email, it might be parts of the website, it might be a proposal, it might be an offer, and that's something even impossible to consider a few years ago when GPT-3 came to the market and so on and so on. But what I think we are passing the threshold that now we know that can get the consistent result on output. We can do it at a scale, and that's kind of something that we also excited about, which is how we can get the personalization when it comes to AI and generative AI, and how to get the accuracy, the depth that you are talking, and how we can also add that accuracy and quality at a scale so we can trust it. And if we pass that trust threshold, we are in the completely new paradigm, which is everyone will be treated by businesses like they actually know them, which is something that we think personalization that we are offering today is that, but it is not just hi first name. It's just a token. And yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, we'd love to,
Yeah.
and we'd love to share more information and give you guys a demo. Anybody who wants a demo, feel free to reach out to us. Just go to personalized.ai, hit the start for free, and we'll get you connected to our team and we'll give you the demos. I think I would summarize it by saying, number one, Hamed and our engineering team, we've architected a platform to deliver personalization at scale. And so what does that mean? You can reach thousands or potentially millions with messages that truly feel handcrafted or personalized, like I wrote it. So Benjamin, if I'm reaching out to you and I know a lot about you, I'm going to write it in a certain way. Personalized makes that possible, whereas it's really not possible if you just have kind of a kind of a basic agent working on a queue of, okay, write an email. That's because of deep research and the context, the contextual data that you have to have, which is what personalized goes out and does and brings that contextual data. So we can show all you guys if you want a one-on-one demo showing you how this works. It's super, super powerful. That's one of the reasons why I joined the company, because I'm excited about what we can do. The other thing, and just in the interest of time, is that we are going to announce a series of major innovations, and really it's kind of the public announcement of Personalize on September 22nd. So we're doing an announcement event on September the 24th. So join us on this Luma link. Latoro, if you want to copy that and share it with the group here in the chat, love to have you guys sign up for that 2 weeks from today. So we're going to be talking a lot about the specific questions you guys have asked about Personalize. So really appreciate you guys leaning in and giving us an opportunity to share more on that. We also have something that we're doing that's a bit different, and that is we're announcing today our Founders Club, and that's now available on our website at personalize.ai/founders-club, Founders Club. And what this is a community of modern go-to-market leaders. We'd love to have all you guys apply for that. The first 25 qualified applicants that are accepted are going to give you guys things like you're going to stay ahead of the curve because you're going to be connected to other peers. You're going to learn some of the trends and some of the things that we are doing and seeing in AI. You're going to get insider access. There's a whole series of benefits if you join. as a founder and you're qualified to join that club. So want to have you guys as part of the Founders Club. We think this is a great way of just connecting a tight community around this whole new area that we're all living in. So I think it's really something exciting. Love to have you guys part of it. So I know we're getting at the bottom of the hour. If you guys have more questions, love to take it offline with you. Really appreciate all you guys' feedback. Mauricio, really appreciate your feedback as a former HubSpot employee. Love to have you guys apply to join Founders Club. Have you guys talk about Personalize, join our next event, share it with your colleagues. I think we're going to have a lot more exciting things to share then. But with that said, I want to appreciate you guys for coming. Latoro, any final comments and thoughts from you?
No, thanks for having us. Like Matt said, we're open to do demos for anyone who's on this call or is watching this call. So get in touch with me or anyone else on the team and we'll set that up. So that's it
Great.
from me.
Thanks, Latoro. Yeah, and again, with Personalize, we believe that every customer touch point should be personal. Love to show you guys how we can do that. So thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate it. Again, Matthew Longi, Chief Marketing Officer with Personalize. Appreciate you guys really being here. And love to talk more with you guys offline. So look for follow-up from me, Latoro, Hamed. And feel free to reach out to us and connect with us on LinkedIn, please. Latoro Cepeda, Matthew Longi, Hamed Tahiri. So love to have you guys connect with us and let's learn more together and explore more together and let's win more. So appreciate it. Thanks everyone for joining.